Welcome to City and Snow. This is a modified Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition Let's Play podcast. I'm Lizzie. I use she, her pronouns. And today I tried cardamom in my coffee and it wasn't great. That's all.
That's all. I'm Anna. I am playing Elthana, the hermetic red blade deep elf character. We both use she, her pronouns. And last time she borrowed someone's memory.
Hi, I'm Miranda. I use they, them, or he, him pronouns, and I play Six, the Tabaxi Sorcerer. He uses he, him pronouns, and last time he was disappointed in Hyacinth and found a magic fanny pack.
Hi, I'm Lane. I play Hannah Mothwatcher, the half-elf fighter. We both use she, her pronouns, and last time she threatened Hyacinth with her greatsword.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I use they, them pronouns. I play Yor, a tiefling paladin, and last time they had an emotional time for some reason and did a divine sense sniffing.
Sniffing.
Yep, good old sniff.
Yeah. Okay, so last time on City and Snow, the party discussed the dragon's proposal patronage and woke up the jailed dog, who is revealed to be a worse-for-wear Hyacinth. When awake, she told the party about the role of the Last Bastion Mercenary Company in saving Dermidnik the dragon and his household of kobolds and crystal snails and memory magic items from the great darkness rolling across Tor. With the party's help, Hyacinth and Dermidnik came to an agreement, and he would be joining everyone back to Elthana's stand, in the guise of an elf. Each party had the opportunity to borrow something from the Horde before they head off. That's where we head off. Now, Hyacinth and Dermidnik had stopped off, and you are all in the snail room. A room with a great waterfall at one end, a pool of water. The air is extremely hot and damp and misty, and every surface, even coming out of the pool of water, is filled with crystalline, clear snails of every size. And that's where we leave you. So everyone had the chance to take an item, and so far we have Elthana, who has chosen a rapier, and we had Six, who had found a fanny pack.
Is it like a fanny pack or like a utility belt?
A fanny pack.
It's a fanny pack, okay.
You can't be cool, it's not allowed.
Yeah. It does have more than one pouch on it, but there is one big pouch. So It's like if a fanny pack thought it would be cool to be a utility belt, but somehow made itself less cool. Yeah.
As long as it doesn't have that, like, beer belly design on it.
Oh, God, I hate that. No.
That's up to you for how it's worn.
It's one of those Lex Talk About It merch. Fanny
Yes.
packs. Plug in. Anyway.
Yeah, so these are things that require attunement so that you know exactly how they work. And what was Hannah's opinion about this?
Once she found out that she would get the memory of the person that imbued it into the item, she flat out refused.
Right. And that left us with Yor. And Yor had picked out an item, but Yor is doing something a bit extra, right?
Yeah.
Yours always extra.
In the most, like, low-key way. But they also realize about this memory thing, and they go, oh, and try to look for the one with the hatpin, Six had that put the memory in.
Okay, give me a perception check. No whammies, no whammies.
It is a 7.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to find it with the 7.
Nope.
It's okay.
You see a bunch of things that look like it. You know what size of snail you're looking for, right? You know you're generally looking for something on the smaller side, maybe about football, small bunny sized, right? And you do find some that are about that size. Could you roll me a d6?
Okay.
And I'll tell you which one you pick up and think this might be the one. but it just
5.
is. So with a 5, the one you pick off the wall doesn't contain the needle, but it does contain a folded up cape with metal tips and clasps. And the snail is about the size of a loaf of bread.
Aww.
It's on the big side for what you were looking for, but you're able to pick something up off the wall.
I'll walk over to Yor and join them.
Okay.
What are you looking for?
Oh, well, when Six and I were talking to Dermidnik, Six gave up one of his memories into the snail with the hatpin, so I'm trying to find that to get that back for him. But this isn't right.
No, that is not a pin.
No.
Can I assist in some way now?
Yeah, let's have Ilivara do a perception check.
Because they're
19?
so observant.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So say, that is not
I would
a pin.
recognize it anywhere. Oh yeah, also I can tell this is not the pin.
Yes. Ilivara with a 19 perception check, you successfully are able to say, this isn't it. I know exactly what that pin looks like. And you take a small walk through the room and scan everything with your eagle eyes, and you find it. It's crawled up high on the wall, about 20 feet up in the air.
Makes sense that it would have made an impression on you because you were the one who tried to use it as a lockpick. And all that happened afterwards.
I find this extra hilarious because I work with aquatic snails and they're always ascending. They're on their way.
Yor, there it is. Then
Oh.
I will gesture. You'll have to give me a boost.
Oh, I mean,
She's tiny, you can do it.
yep.
Okay. Can you reach 20 feet? Standing on
Is
each other? What?
Impossible.
Toss me.
What's the plan here?
Toss me.
Toss the elf?
No.
Toss the elf.
Toss the elf?
Wait, does anyone have any, like, spells or anything? Like, mage
man,
hand?
Toss
could-
No,
me.
there are no spells in this group whatsoever. You are spellsent.
Hannah would be good for this.
True.
Yeah, with her spells.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
god. And it spells. I can either hand you transience or I can misty step.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That makes more sense than tossing me.
If you misty step up, you are going to fall to the ground unless you're caught, I guess.
Let me catch them.
Oh, wait, I also have a climbing speed to try and get it.
Oh yeah.
But
We're
you
all
have to
handy.
suggest it to 6.
This is my romantic scene. Get out of here, 6.
I
Okay.
feel like yours is in this moment of getting this snail.
You already
So
had
far,
your
all too
fun
practical.
with what's his face.
It's my memory. Yeah, Frankie. Oh my god.
Frankie, yeah.
for you.
Okay, so Izzy, you are going to do a misty step up to the snail, it off the wall, and I'm going to need I guess that would be an athletics check for Mana.
Oh no. Oh, that's a 3.
That's a 3.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Hannah and 6 from across the room, you see a tiefling jump into the sky.
A 6-foot tall tiefling.
Yeah. In armor.
Bam, 20 feet up, grab a snail, and then try to do like a cheerleader trust fall and just absolutely flatten Ilvar.
Totally intentional.
Romantic, though.
Yes, my spine is slightly broken. It's
I'm
alright.
so sorry. And they go to help her up.
That's 11
It's okay.
damage.
Oh my
Like,
god.
fall damage.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'll try and kind of like, I'm totally fine.
Oh no.
Did you get it?
Do you want to cure wounds? This is a lot of things.
But you do have the
I'm
snail.
alright.
Are you two alright?
We're fine, 6.
Okay.
6.
I don't know how to do 6's voice right now. It's scaring me.
No, dude.
No.
Oh. Oh.
Yes!
There we go.
Do
Okay.
behave.
That's a different RPG to run. Okay, so what do you all want to do now? So it is nighttime. Hyacinth is interested in resting because she has had a time and made part of that time some of your problem. Yeah, it's been a very long day. You started this day in Elthana's stand, so yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know that we would have brought any of our camping stuff, so I don't know if we have anything.
Speak for yourself.
I mean, if Hannah did, Illivar would be like, that's a good idea.
Did I mention that this is a hall full of items? So, theoretically...
One of them
There's
should
gotta be something here.
have a bedroll in the... Look for the snail with the magic bedroll.
That's a question for the dragon whose hoard you might need to borrow bits of.
17 perception.
For what?
Looking for a magic bedroll?
I don't know! No, just tell me what you all want to know. Yeah, so, I mean, theoretically, you could possibly take advantage and keep on going through doing more stuff at night.
No, I think it's been a day.
Okay, you could go to the Blue Heron. And I guess the other place in town is related to the Moth Watchers, right? Because you have a farm, kind of? Yeah. So it's also a possibility that Hannah's probably not interested in taking a dragon to the farm. Now that I think about it. Okay, yeah.
No, she wants this dragon as far away from her hometown as possible.
That's fair, yeah.
Six kinda wants to follow up on the soldiers and stuff. Specifically, Frankie, he kinda wants to see if Frankie's okay.
Frankie's dead.
Frankie's dead.
The only casualty.
Oh, no!
He was so brave.
That's because he was only half dressed in his armor.
Oh, God.
It's my fault.
So yours.
Yeah.
How do we put the memory back?
We give it a 6.
Hello.
Hey, Ilvara found the snail with the hatpin that has your memory. Here you go.
Oh,
Snail for you.
okie. How do I put it back in exactly?
Spend some time with it, maybe?
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
He takes the hat pin out and guess he's just gonna hold that in his hand.
Let me know when your memory's back, if you would.
I think it's kicking in.
Is it? Can I do an insight?
It's hard to tell.
Sure, I guess, yeah. I'm not sure that 6 is lying, though.
I don't think he's lying.
Just being a silly boy.
No, it's like, I forget what it's called, but in psychology class we learned about how people, they drink a little bit and then they're like, oh, I'm so drunk, you guys. But they're just like a little like buzzed and they're just like socially like, so he's just
faking
like,
it.
yeah. Or, well, not faking it, but just like,
He thinks he might think it's happening.
yeah.
Type of thing.
Thinks maybe he feels something. Are you feeling it, Mr. Krabs?
That was quick.
I got a 15, so I'm just gonna squint and be like, alright, keep me
I'm
updated.
remembering.
You know 6 pretty well, so...
I'm remembering.
We should make camp.
I don't think we need to set up a formal camp. I think we are relatively safe in here for the time being. As much as I hate saying that. We can either go back or stay up here, or... I don't know.
I say we go back.
Is Dominic in the room with us?
No, they had walked out. If you wanted to follow them, you could probably hear them arguing with each other about something.
No. Just turn to 6 and go, I don't want that dragon anywhere near my hometown.
So we rest here.
We could meet back up with them if you need to see Higglethorpe again.
No, my mama's left for Elthana stand already. I don't really have anything left to do. I do have to get some clothes for the ball, but that can wait until we get to Elthana stand.
Your mother is a very nice woman.
Thank you, I know.
All of Higglethorpe is really nice. Thank
What
you for
happened to you,
showing
Hannah?
us.
Oh,
Terrible.
Rude.
I've had a lovely time as well. I must confess. I was a little put off to begin with, but I enjoyed my time here despite myself.
I'm glad you all liked my hometown. I hate this fucking cave.
It's very hot.
Oh, thank you. Little grin comes across her face.
Six is just gonna, wink at Hannah playfully. Hannah knows.
Yeah.
Gay and lesbian solidarity.
She does the hand thing.
Oh, you. Yeah, so I guess, are we going to bed?
I guess we're going to bed. Well, at the very least, I'm going to settle in somewhere with the rapier that I popped out of a snail.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to settle down with this fanny pack and this hatpin.
I'm actually going to sit cross-legged with both my rapier and the other one over my knees and meditate.
Yor still has that snail that is slightly smaller than a loaf of bread comparatively, and they're gonna cuddle with it.
Oh, friends.
Mm-hmm. They just didn't let go, and it's like, okay.
Oh my god.
Or it gets stuck to them, and they're too nice to put it off.
Ugh.
I have a question for Yor. Are you petting the snail?
Sure. Why?
You are generating an electric charge.
Oh no.
It's written in the stat block, if you pet it, you die.
Actually.
It's actually oozing acid.
Kind of like a glass that, you put your hand around and it rings. When you pet it in just the right spot, it rings a little bit.
Oh.
So when you're like that kind of a sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very cute. If anyone would find the right place to get a snail purring, it would be Yor. So, yeah.
Lane's face. Don't look at weird Lane.
That's your mind in the gutter.
I'm already thinking of Yor covered in ooze.
Question mark.
What rating is this podcast meant to be?
Explicit.
We haven't eaten. Yeah,
Excellent.
Technically, I'm allowed to curse.
Fuck.
Whoa.
You know, the meme of who's allowed to... I'm not allowed to curse. Everyone else can.
Piss.
We did it. We achieved the rating.
Good job, everyone.
1, is there a specific space in this dungeon where you're looking to just kind of chill? 2, is there any type of items you are looking at? And 3, before bedding down for the night, are you contacting Hyacinth or Dominion?
I'll just let them come to us. Or at least that's Six's perspective.
It seems like there's a living space where we're meeting with him.
Yes.
So maybe that area is good.
There is a place with couches.
Oh.
What is it?
Divan.
Yeah. Seems like a very American mispronunciation.
Yeah, it does. Feels wrong.
Sofas. Yeah, welcome to the Dragon's Pull-Out Couch Lounge. So, no, he just has couches, so it's slumber party vibes over here.
Woo!
Swampy slumber party vibes. So, I guess if you're all in that chamber, at some point Dominic comes back in and walks by you, notices that you're all kind of in, not his spot, just, he's not used to this. And says, I'm very excited to join you and see Elthana stand for myself.
I'm out in this, snail room, I think.
He's trying to address everyone. I mean, he might just shout just because he's never had to not be commanding. So, in the morning, Hyacinth has organized it. We shall leave through her tree.
Ah, yes. We are familiar with her tree.
Perfect. I've been advised that I cannot bring attendance. I shall not have a retinue of kobolds, so good night.
Moritz can come, though.
No, he can't.
I say so. He's cool.
Yeah, we like him.
Sorry, is there some sort of problem, Hannah?
Don't worry. I've had a long day. It's not where I want to be.
I'm sure you'd prefer we all get back. We get back to Elthanistan.
Yes.
Supposed to be quite different than what you're used to. A big city with lots of people. Okay.
Does he sound excited or nervous?
Oh, give me an insight check.
Okay. Lots of people and pollution and, let's see.
Rats and garbage and...
19 from me.
Yeah, so Ilvar is slowly learning how to read him. Definitely there's something not elvish, even though he looks elvish at this moment. He doesn't quite have the same, social upbringing, right, as an elf would have, and so he's not giving off some of the signs you would expect of someone who's nervous. He definitely does sound excited, though, and not in a malicious way. He sounds excited in the same way of someone who gets to go to their favorite hobby store.
Aw, he's a kid in a candy shop.
Have you never gone before?
No, before this mountain, I was in a mountain up north.
All you know are mountains, then.
No, I know people. I know people through all of these, through all the wonderful memories they give to me.
You'll enjoy Elthanistan.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes, it's one thing to experience another's memories vicariously, quite another to experience things for yourself, I would think.
There's going to be so many memories. He just takes a moment, stands on the edge of the water, and jumps in. And as he jumps into the water, he turns into a magnificent dragon with clear, gray, tan scales that ring ever so slightly as he does a perfect dive into the water.
Do they ring the same way as the snails?
Yes.
Oh.
Every minute or so, you'll see a little thing of bubbles.
Is he a big Dagron?
Dagron.
How big is
Dagron.
big? He is an adult dragon.
Bigger than your.
Yes, he is bigger than yours.
Bigger than 6?
Also bigger than 6.
What about 6 standing on your shoulders?
That would be about
Bigger
12
than
feet.
that as well. That's
What
that's a lot of big.
What about your standing on 6's shoulders, holding Hannah on their shoulders?
No, I just want to see this happen.
We're gonna measure you. Just hold on a sec.
Excuse me.
I'm going to
you're the
measure
only-
you in yours, 6's, and Hannah's.
The only units of measurement that matter.
6 is going to tentatively approach the pool and dip his feet in, sort of look and see.
It's pretty hot.
Just putting your feet in someone's sleep air.
Oh, is he sleeping?
Yeah, that's where he sleeps.
Oh, okay, I thought he was just
Chilling.
I mean, he's probably chilling beforehand.
doing water aerobics, yeah.
No, this is... That's where Big Dragon Boy sleeps. So
Okay, then I won't do that.
Okay.
I misunderstood the situation. 6
I'm
is
sorry.
reading the Gilded Guild Guide because it's the
Okay.
only book on his person right now. He's laying back on one of those divans.
Ooh. Give me a quick, history check. See how much you learn.
Yeah, he's gonna look for what Zerabel has the tattoo for.
Oh, that's the velvet needle.
Yeah, he's gonna look for velvet needles. Information. Is that a guild?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. 8.
Okay.
6 doesn't even know how to use an index.
Oh no! That's big curse. Big sorcerer energy.
Oh god.
Okay, so you're flipping through, and 6 is not really able to find something in the index, so I think you might just be starting from the beginning and flipping pages until you get to the velvet needles.
Okay, I'd probably fall asleep
Yeah. Well, by the time you read all the things, what you catch on to, you're able to read the first couple lines of the intro, which explain that this is a guild of thieves. However, some of them are on the up and up because sometimes they get paid to do things by rich people and are generally for hire, quote unquote. And they style themselves as gentlefolk.
Okay. So they're thieves, they're on the up and up because they do jobs for rich folk.
They are thieves. It also includes the Velvet Needles, also known as the Thieves Guild. There is an illustration for each symbol that becomes a tattoo for the people who are masters of these guilds. And the symbol, as you recognize, is a crossbow with a needle and thread. Each header for each guild includes a small diagram with the common locations of these tattoos, because location is also important. And this is a tattoo that is located on the inner arm by the elbow. And you also can tell with an 8, like I said, they are professionals. This isn't just a loose association of criminals. These are people who have quality control, a code of conduct, professionalism. So, all things considered, they are generally on the up.
Interesting.
So, I guess the type of person who would, legally be a part of the Velvet Needle to be, say, privateer company who is in the service of a nation, or a mercenary company, or someone who is like a bouncer. I would probably do that as well.
Like Elthana.
Bodyguards.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, you haven't really figured out, you dozed off before figuring out their history, what their current thing is, anyone, their leadership or whatever, so. But that's the gist.
Fall asleep with the book open on my face.
Nice.
Perfect.
Are you purring?
Because it's gilded.
Okay, so, Ilivara and you're finding your space on a couch. Are you sharing a space?
I'm not on a couch yet. I'm going to spend some time meditating. Yeah, so probably nearby, but just cross-legged on the floor and trying to connect with the memory and reflecting on my own memories in this heirloom weapon that I have with me.
Okay, we will circle back to that. Dor, how are you settling?
Well, they're spooning this snail. As long as there's enough space for everybody, couch real estate wise, then they'll take one.
And Hannah?
Kind of out in the snail room. Just little blanket over myself.
So coming into the snail room after you've all kind of settled in is Hyacinth. In her full tall form, she is going to pop a snail off the wall, grab a big old blanket from inside it, and start setting up a makeshift hammock. Not anywhere near Hannah. I believe she's going to go into the antechamber that is a mirror of where the rest of you are. Because she's an 8-foot tall lady who needs some space. And, maybe recognizes that you all need some space as well.
Yeah.
From her.
Yes. Okay, let's go into item attunement because
Is it a mini game?
No, it isn't. That's a really good idea that I don't have time to implement right now. Though
That's great.
I regret not doing that. But I have memories for each of them. So who wants to go first and with what?
Let's roll to see who wins.
Okay.
I guess 6, you have the choice to do it, but you kind of already went to bed.
Oh yeah, he's gonna dream about Razor.
Dream about Razor.
He's gonna be a bad dream. He's gonna dream and his memories are gonna come back to him in his dreams. Maybe the memories of the fanny pack also get mixed in there, so it's just really confusing and weird. And he's gonna wake up and be like,
I actually like that a lot, and I'll incorporate that in. Actually, the pin, I believe, did not need attunement last time, but it also doesn't have a memory. Just to make sure on your sheets, the pin is with 6 now, and the pin does have 6's memory, which you gain back. after spending some time with it. So I think it might just be Elvara then. Are you ready?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So as you meditate, you sit with the rapier across your lap. You take it out of its black leather sheath, and you notice all of the little beads of condensation on it, and the slight iridescent sheen to it, as it, like Wayne said, with almost like gasoline in the light. And as you're breathing, you're suddenly transported somewhere else. And it's in first person. So you're experiencing these things through the eyes of someone else as you're racing a horse, galloping fast through a forest track and out to a beach. You can hear the thunder of hooves behind you as the horse makes one final leap across a log, and then the air changes from upturned dirt and sand into sea salt as you make it out to the water first. A whole crowd of people are cheering, and other riders follow you shortly, splashing in your wake. On a victory lap, there are garlands of flowers and little horse tokens made of wood, and finally, a well-dressed woman gifts you with this rapier. Ooh. And you hold it up, victorious.
Cool.
This is the Rapier of Desperate Times. Once attuned, if you have less than half hit points, the weapon gains the reach property, so 5 foot into 10 foot, and you gain an extra bonus action per round.
Damn.
Nice.
That's friggin' sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I know what we had forgotten, the belts, the fanny pack.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Get mixed into his weird razor dream.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be good, because that means that it's first person, but you also know that you're kind of Razor in this moment.
Oh, no!
It's real weird. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
You made it to the top. The world below starts to redden with sunset, trees, and columns of stone make long shadows. Distant forests become a sea of green, with branches catching the last light. Slowly you shrug off a pack and set it down. You take the belt that carries the rest. There will be time to put up the tent in a moment. For now you take out a deck of illustrated cards from a side pouch and sit and take in the fresh air. In the last moments of sunlight, there's the feel of old cards as you shuffle them without looking and draw. And that's where it ends.
Can I make a small suggestion?
Go for it.
Look at the card, and it's like a face card, maybe, and it has Razor's face on it. And Razor is just like saying, I don't know, stuff like whatever he was saying to me during that interrogation. I don't know.
Suddenly, the camera zooms in as we transition to the interrogation memory.
Muffins 6. I need more muffins. Yes!
So this is the belt of hidden pouches. This is an unremarkable looking belt with one large pouch on the back, 3 on the side, and 3 smaller ones on the front. It's adjustable, also made of black dyed leather. So this is going to function as like a more subtle handy haversack. It also currently contains a Taraka deck, I guess, like a tarot deck, and a quarterstaff.
I'm gonna need to check that later and make sure Razor's face is not really on that deck.
Yeah. Razor's face, the face of the fool.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I believe that's where we will end for the long rest. You made it another day in this game! Woo!
Yay!
Okay.
Well, everyone
do long rest reset.
Oh, yeah.
That's everything back, right? It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. It is everything back. Yeah.
So, like, even your full HP?
Yes, full HP.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
My spine is all better.
Oh, wait, yeah. There's no button for that. What am I talking
You
about?
can break it anytime. Here.
Wow. So, it's been a while. We start the next morning, and you wake up, I guess, all kind of sweaty, frankly. Because it's a sauna in here.
Oh, that sounds miserable.
I have snail goo.
Oh my gosh.
Sweaty and covered in goo.
My Friday night.
Six just wakes up in a cold sweat.
How cold is that sweat, though? Really?
Not very cold. That's true. It's not a cold sweat. It's just a sweat.
So when you wake up, there are some kobolds running around, and the kobolds are doing the packing for Dominik, who was told he could only bring one bag, and we're testing those limits at the moment. So.
Oh my god.
One of them might try to steal one of your pillows. They're on a mission to pack for Dominik. Six is just gonna look over at Yor and Illavar and be like, is there really a man named Razor?
Oh, unfortunately, yes.
Oh. I kind of hate that I remember that.
I was curious as to your reaction.
But, thank you, Yor, for restoring my memories.
Oh, of course. I mean, I was there for that, so, sorry, but every memory is important, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'm gonna pretend his name isn't Razor, and that's a pretty okay memory right there.
One time he was named Ponytail Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend his name is, Jeremy. That is a name for him.
Jeremy.
He looks like a Jeremy, doesn't he?
Jeremy is a fine name.
Yes.
Wasted on a man like that.
True. We'll call him Jerome.
Okay. So is there an order to the way people are waking up? Is there anything you want to do here before Hyacinth leads you all back to the tree?
Not that I can think of.
I guess there isn't really time for me to check and make sure Frankie isn't dead.
There isn't.
Okay.
I guess you could technically leave a message and a kobold can try to sneak a letter in. Like, it's not, it's actually a bit dangerous, but it's a possibility.
Check another time, I guess. Also, that's gonna be so annoying. I love the idea of going up to Razor and being like, "Sup, Jerome?" He's like, "My name's Razor." Okay, Jerome.
I decided that was terrible, so...
I'm not calling you that.
Yor's gonna put the snail back on the wall on its merry way and, you know, give it a pat and mutter about how they hope that it likes its new home if it knew its old one, you know?
That's really cute. Positive affirmation snail hour.
Aw.
New ASMR.
Oh. The snail ringing.
It's just like doing
Snail
The
affirmations.
snail affirmations.
while making it do the woo noise.
Oh yeah, that'd be actually really good. I'm sorry, Lane's probably really disgusted at me. I would watch that.
I'll tune out. You guys, you know, send me a text when you're done.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Hyacinth is going to lead the way out. She obviously knows her way around this place and looks like she's feeling a bit refreshed. Dominik is back in elf form. I guess a young man with tan skin. You got the elf ears going, and you have long, straight, very straight, dark blonde hair.
I like the gesture that kind of insinuated they can move like cat ears.
Oh, it's gotta be canon now.
Sweet.
I mean, to be fair, he shapeshifted, so it's not like he really knows.
He's not confined to the
Yes.
limits of actual elves.
Also, maybe he doesn't know that elves' ears don't do that.
He just has all these misconceptions about elves. He's like, oh yeah, elves lay eggs, right? Elves are like dragons. We lay eggs.
And he's also dressed in that big fur coat.
Oh.
So
Excellent.
he's prepared for the cold. Similar to how the first time you saw Moritz was basically bundled up in. And as a note, the kobolds you see running around here are dressed kind of normally and not dressed for winter. So it's obvious that they're pretty comfortable in this climate. So Hyacinth leads you all out. There's a long trek up a staircase, and then there's some careful climbing down the mountain. But you have basically the morning. It's pretty early in the morning. Okay. Yeah, so you lead out and you're now where you were before, and you walk towards the tree, which was, if you remember, about halfway between this cave and Higglethorpe. So it's not as long a walk. Hyacinth makes her way through the bushes, through all the trees and undergrowth, and when you get to the lake, it's even less frozen than the last time you were here. The ice was just starting to break when you were here, but now it's really broken up. And Hyacinth takes a moment and says, okay, will everyone please stand back? Goes towards the water and ices it, casts a spell, and puts ice across the whole thing. Now everything is solid, and she gives the speech, and mostly directs at Dervidnik, but does the similar speech of, okay, we have a very short amount of time to go through this tree. Once they give the word, I need you all to run through, and I will follow right behind. Okay, is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yes, I am. He's still kind of bundled up in fur. And so Hyacinth does the same type of chant as she did before. She ends it by taking her hands from palm to palm out, and with a violent cracking sound, the tree opens up, and she goes, go, go, go!
I go.
Y'all go through.
Lead the charge.
Just curious, who's holding Dermidnik's bag, and how big is it?
He's trying to, but if anyone offers, he will gladly hand it over.
6 will be a gentleman, but
Okay,
then it's
okay.
going to be too heavy for
It's
him.
too big. All right.
But
You died.
No. Yours sees 6 struggle and is like,
you know, 6, if you offer, honestly, if you're walking through and you're struggling to the point where you're like lagging behind a little, Hyacinth will, without even missing a step, take the bag from you.
Cool.
Tall, 8 foot woman, not even blinking, just adds it to whatever she was carrying.
I'm not even
Casually.
gonna roll for it. I'm just gonna say he struggles, and that happens. Can't even lift Hannah's sword.
Just for bulk things. Okay, and you all run through. Right, what was the order? Because Hyacinth is at the end.
I'll be going first.
Yes, that tracks.
I like the thought of being second and last.
I guess I'll be in the rear. It's a recurring joke, I guess.
Are you behind or in front of Dervindic?
I'm in his rear. No.
Okay, so you're sandwiched.
Earning that explicit rating.
Every city's not into you. Okay, so you all run through the opening in the large cedar tree that's in a clearing of wood, the clearing that is paved around the tree because it's used by the First Bastion Mercenary Company, and as far as you could remember, it has been used since before Hyacinth was part of the company.
Wow.
So as you go through...
So as Hannah steps out of the tree, you see a half-elf woman. She's quite short, about 5'4", has straw-coloured hair in kind of like a messy bob. She very clearly doesn't take too much care of it. Very striking, aqua blue eyes. She's wearing sort of bronze brassy coloured armour that does not fit her very well. There's very clearly loose sections, and it's kind of clanking around as she moves. And on her back is a great sword that's probably about 6 foot in length, far bigger than she is, that's slightly diagonally to accommodate her height.
Next, yours truly springs out from the tree. They wear a mild motley of mismatched armor pieces, on which are painted little yellow details that unify them. A simple off-white tunic set over a resoled chainmail shirt, to which a bright teal cravat was fashioned, big puffy light sleeves, and gray-green tights on their long legs. Their paladin focus, a somewhat unassuming spear of amber resin cast around a dandelion flower and worn as a necklace, matches their entirely amber eyes. There's a wistful look in them, but also a joy and a gentle care for others. They often show their pointy tiefling teeth when they smile. A headband pushes back a big bloom of pink curls, and freckles scatter the gray-brown skin of their face, ears, tails up to its spade end, and banded horns. Their glaive transience rivals their 6'1" height. Their bag of tricks hangs about their belt, and they always have their well-loved and cared-for accordion on their person. And that's York.
Elthana steps out. She is also fairly short, about 5'2", a very nimble, thin body type. Her silver hair falls against pitch black skin, falling in roughly cut sections to her jaw. Pink eyes scan the area, expecting unseen enemies. Her body's overall taut and ready for battle. Just kind of all the time. She's a little uptight. She's not smiling, and if she did, it might uncomfortably stretch scarred tissue that envelops the right portion of her lips and downwards toward her neck and jawline.
Last but not least, merging into the sunlight with his friends, the tallest of the four, by a small margin, is 6, a lanky tabaxi man of around 30, give or take a few years, he'll never tell. While mostly covered in fine, tawny-toned fur, the right half of his angular face bears bronze scales. His noble visage is dominated by his nose, but all is framed by broad ears, while 2 small horns crown his brow. He wears a robe of green damask to match the glint of his eyes. His ears, hands, neck, and tail are adorned with jewelry. A satchel of dark sable is slung across his shoulder, carrying most of his items, though he can now be seen fiddling with his new magical fanny pack, preoccupied with finding the most flattering way to wear it. His hands, as they do this, he has 6 fingers, basically. That's his thing. That's where his name comes from. He's 6.
Polydactyl. Can I get a perception check from everyone, please?
That's a 5 from me.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
16.
9.
17.
You're with the 16, and 6 with the 17. You're and 6. You notice right away. The air smells almost sulfur. Something is way off from the pristine natural environment you're in.
Buckle up, boys. We're going to hell.
Woohoo!
You don't see anyone around you, but you're looking, and maybe you catch a glimpse of some movement out in the woods around you, but you don't know exactly what it is.
Oh, wait. Have we come out the other side?
You've come out the other side. The tree that is on the outskirt of Elthana's stand.
Okay, I thought we were still inside tree space.
No,
Okay,
you are
that
not
makes sense.
inside tree space.
Okay.
The tree has sealed up behind you and now has the same seam behind it, like a scar.
Yeah. So we just smell sulfur. Is there anything else that is off?
We saw something,
A slight
kind of.
smoky smell. Slight, almost like a metallic blood scent in the air.
Oh.
You said we saw like a flash of something, but don't know?
Yeah, Yor and Six both saw a slight bit of movement in the trees around, in the forest around. This area is one really large tree in a section of forest that's pretty wild to the, I believe, southwest of the city. To the west of the city, that's between the city and the shoreline.
Since Hannah's in front, I'm not gonna touch her because no surprise. I've seen what happens.
That's my doing mostly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Sorry.
Just tell her that. Hey, Hannah, thought I saw something. Something seems maybe off. Just keep an eye out.
Alright, I didn't see anything, but I'll keep an eye out.
No, I saw it too. I definitely saw something. I don't know what's up with my voice right now. I definitely saw something though.
I guess we keep an eye out as we head back.
Yeah, it could have just been an animal, but it's always good to keep up.
Hyacinth, you know this place better than anyone. Does anything seem off to you?
Maybe smelly?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Smelly?
Hyacinth takes a second and sniffs the air all tall and says, "No, there's something a little... No, something's not right. No, you're right.
Are there any, tracks or anything strange in our immediate vicinity?
Give me a
In the
survival
snow?
check."
Survival. That's a 7.
You die.
I die.
You don't survive.
With the 7, you came through here earlier. Doesn't seem like, there are tracks. You're like, oh, right. I was here yesterday. It didn't snow between then. So, yeah. As far as you can tell, no.
Let's just forge on ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Forging on ahead. Hannah's at the front. Hannah, give me a dexterity saving throw.
You get +4.
For saving throws within
my 10 feet of paladins.
So that's 15.
Okay. Yeah. Almost by design inspiration. You're able to jump back out of the way as a lasso of chain pulls out from under the snow where it was embedded, almost catching your foot. It pulls out, and it pulls all the way out this dark chain, loud clattering into the forest.
Sword drawn.
I need everyone to make an initiative check.
Yay.
Wow.
Okay, and Javinia goes, what was that? What's going on? And out from the clearing walks a figure clothed in a dark cloak, holding a whole bunch of chains. So this figure comes out of the woods and reveals a new cloak, and you see this terrifying form. Each step he takes sizzles the ground around him, and the air starts to smell like sulfur and burning and charcoal. And that's where we're going to stop for the evening.
Fuck.
Woohoo!
Can I, before we end it, do a knowledge check?
Give me an Arcana or History.
Thought you were gonna sneak in a little one-liner.
Can I do a fuck you check as I flip him off?
Yes, you may.
Do you get advantage if you use both hands?
Yep. That's how that works.
If they are a fae, fiend, or undead, I get advantage on rolling this knowledge check.
There is no undead, but there could be a fair fiend.
Yeah, you get
should be able
advantage.
to replace that with something else. Sweet.
Yeah.
Be nice.
That's a 9.
With a 9, you go,
Yep.
this isn't a person. That's as much as you can tell with a 9, but this just...
I'm really good at saying that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. Wait.
That's not a pin.
This is way
This is
more
right.
than an average situation. This is something that is devilish, fiendish.
Smelly.
I would like to know that.
Sweet.
And
Whoa.
that's where we're going to wrap up for tonight. And that's where we're going to start off next time.
Noise.
City and Snow is part of Novi Studios and takes place in the setting of Lanamora ages before the events of the Legends of Lanamora podcast. To find more City and Snow content, share your thoughts or predictions, or keep up with the silliness, check out the Twitter account City and Snow. Thanks again to all my wonderful players. How can people find you all?
This is Anna. You can find all of my social media and website information on Linktree at Unruly Cryptid. And I would also like to encourage everyone to check out my friend's GoFundMe for Joy. I'll just link it on my Linktree. Whatever. There you go. But I encourage it. Very nice person dealing with health issues.
I am Izzy, and you can find me at Squishy Night on Twitter or Linktree.
According to unredacted CIA reports, I'm Lane, and you can find me at Line the Order on Twitter, and also running through crypto mining farms with a big magnet.
That's how you harvest it, right? It's a farm. That's how you harvest them.
No, it's how you, break
I know that. Just Farmer Lane.
I harvest it with a big mallet.
Give me your coins like Mario.
I'm Miranda. You can find me on the flip side at Brotato Farm on Twitter.
Did we break Lane?
I didn't expect that to have that reaction.
I'm Lizzie, and you can find me at LIZY_VR on Twitter. Mostly staying out of the discourse. Finger gun. To check out more shows and streams from Novi Studios, visit novistudio.io. That's novistudio.io. That's all from us. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, bye.